I want to talk to you about agency structure. So, property agents, sales agents, letting agents, because not everyone that you speak to in that agency is going to have access or the knowledge that you expect them to have around whatever inquiry it is that you've gone in there with. Now, what I mean by that sounds a bit complicated. But actually, if you're going in there to find, for example, any potential properties that might be coming on that meet your requirements when it comes to your investment strategy, well, the property manager is unlikely to know that information, or the lettings negotiator on the front desk, or the administrator. They're not likely to have been told that information just yet because they know what's already on, not necessarily what might be coming on. Now, there is a caveat to that. Proactive agents will share that information to hopefully encourage the listings to come on. However, we're going to be talking generically about agents which aren't as proactive as they could be, which means that anything that hasn't been instructed doesn't get shared with the branch. However, something that's not been instructed but could meet your criteria, if you are clear that that is what you're looking for, then you can approach someone like the valuer, the lister, the potentially the senior negotiator, depending on who it is that does their valuations. And you can say to them, look, how about approaching them and seeing if they'd be interested in us viewing it and seeing if we want to make an offer, and that could encourage them to get that listing. So you need to think that way because you are an asset to them. Make sure that they're aware of that as well, because they're not always necessarily going to be thinking that way. But trust me, that's how a lot of transactions happen in proactive agencies. Now, the other thing when it comes to working with agents is if you've got a proposal, creative property investment strategies, for example, if you're going down the rent to rent route, or you're looking for lease options, or you're looking for rent to service accommodation, then you're going to want to speak to the person in branch who has got the authority to make decisions around whether they're happy to approach their clients with that proposal. Now, that's usually the branch manager or the owner of the business. So there's no real point in spending loads and loads of time explaining the process, explaining how it works and everything else to maybe the person at the front desk, the lettings negotiator, the administrator, because that's just going to have to be passed up to eventually the business owner. So rather than going through that whole painful process of Chinese whispers, things not getting passed on properly, inevitably meaning that you might not even get to speak to the top person, my recommendation is to go straight to that senior person, like I say, either the branch manager or the business owner. Approach them directly about meeting with them to discuss that opportunity of working together, and you're more likely to get those meetings, have those conversations, and hopefully be positively welcomed as a potential asset to their business. Now, when it comes to lettings and management, of course, one of the great motivated property sellers right now are landlords. But not all of them are thinking about selling openly. So we need to be able to try and get in front of those landlords who maybe are on the fence, maybe they've not even thought about selling yet. And the best way for us to do that is through the letting side, and in particular through property managers and also the lettings managers, maybe even the lettings valuers. Because ultimately, again, they're going to be the ones that are having those conversations with their clients. They're going to be the ones that have that relationship established with those clients. And they're going to be the ones that can gauge whether they might be interested, whether it's something that they might entertain, so that you can then have a conversation with them. Now, that's the structure of agencies. One very key point that I want to sort of share with you as well when it comes to getting agents to help you with your proposition, your proposal, is to make it as easy as possible to pass that on to their client. So if you're looking at acquiring properties, whether you're looking at creative strategies, lease options, assisted sales, rent to rent, whether you're looking at exchange with delayed completions, things like that. The best way to get agents on board is to make their job as easy as possible, and also rely less on them passing the key bits of information on, because if they're not quite sure about it, they'll not pass the information on correctly. And just like it is with a proposal to work together with the agency, if it's not passed on correctly, you're not necessarily going to get that meeting, not because they're not interested in the proposal, just because they don't actually know what that proposal is all about. So the best way to do that is to put it down in writing and effectively just give them something to pass forward to their client. So usually it's an email, write out exactly how it works, the benefits to that property owner, how it works, the costs, anything that's important to them making a decision around speaking with you, so that then that can just simply be forwarded on to their client. They'll come back, hopefully arrange a meeting, and that's you got some extra leads in that you would never have had in the first place. So that's agency hierarchy, agency structure. That's how to get agents on board and how to work effectively with them. Hopefully you found that useful. Happy hunting. I'll see you in another video.